Hey folks, Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois in the Louisiana Cooking Test Kitchen, your authority for all things great at the Bayou State. Man, do I have a video for you today. It's a doozy. It's a Cajun classic. It's white beans and rice, y'all. Let's get to work. Main ingredient, white beans. Today we're using navy beans or Great Northern beans. They're here raw. You can even start this recipe by cooking them from raw, or you can soak them overnight like so. This is what we're going to use today so we can kind of get these beans started for these video purposes. I got a big Magnalite pot to my left here. I'm going to kick that fire on high and I'm going to add some vegetable oil to the pot. While my oil is heating up, let's go over some of the ingredients that we have on our cutting board. We have ham hocks, andouille sausage, tasso ham, and pickled pork. That's our meat that's going to go into our white beans. We also have the classic trinity of onion, celery, and bell pepper. We have garlic. We have green onions, black pepper, salt, hot sauce, some Cajun seasonings, and fresh bay leaf and thyme. Also chicken stock or water. You can even use whatever stock you have really to cook this recipe. We're using stock because that's just going to help add just more flavor to this dish and really give a good complex bite at the end. So let's get started. Our heat is on, our oil's in the pot. We're gonna just brown, what we wanna do is just brown all of our meats first. And first I'm gonna start with the ham hocks. I'm gonna brown those up. Now the ham hocks are the ankle section of the pork. They are smoked, they are cured, and they're just gonna add a bunch of flavor and meatiness and gelatin to this white bean recipe. So I'm just gonna brown these up. I'm gonna take these in stages. We're gonna brown the hocks first, then the rest of the meat. Then we're gonna get rolling by getting all the rest of those ingredients in the pot. So our hocks are nice and brown. We'll go ahead and remove those out of the pot. Then we're gonna go in with our other three meats. Andouille sausage, tasso ham. Now for those who don't know what tasso ham is, it's just a spicy cured ham that you can find at a lot of butcher shops in Cajun country. You go ahead and use regular ham if you have it. This is pickled pork. Again, if you can find pickled pork, a really great ingredient to add some depth to this dish, but not necessary. You can get it off of Amazon, or you can get it at your local gas station. All depends on where you live. I'm gonna give all that meat a stir. Just like the hocks, I wanna get this meat rendered and browned before I add my trinity. Our meat roasting in this pot is looking absolutely scrumptious. It is about time to add our trinity. And if you can see from that overhead, all that gras doux on the bottom of that pot, all those fats and all those goodies sticking to the bottom, that's what we want to see. When I add my trinity, that's onion first. Get that stirred into that hot fat. Bell pepper, celery, green onions or scallions, and then hefty amount of garlic. Love it. I'm gonna add our bay leaves in right now as well. Those like to bloom in the fat, just like everything else. And just give that trinity a nice stir while scraping the bottom of that pan. All right, our trinity is cooked down. It's looking good. Let's add the rest of our ingredients. We got these soaked beans. Now, a lot of people strain the water off of these beans. I don't see the necessity of that because honestly, that water is kind of like a bean stock at this point. So I'm okay with dumping them straight in with that soaking liquid. Obviously, that's not enough liquid, and that's why we have the stock. You're gonna wanna keep some reserve stock around as well to add to the process as it goes. We're just gonna fill this up all the way. We wanna give enough space for those beans to cook in the pot and enough liquid to start it, because this is gonna be 2 or 3 hours to get these beans nice and tender and creamy. And what we're really looking for, we're not looking for whole beans to be the end result. We're looking for a creamy, mashed white bean dish. So that's gonna take some time. All right, we're gonna bring this up to a boil, get it to a simmer, put the lid on, and then move it to the back burner to cook for another 2 or 3 hours. All right, I forgot a couple things. I forgot to put my ham hocks back in there. You can go ahead and just throw them right into the pot, like so. And also, my thyme and sage can get kind of buried in there. And what I'm gonna do is just take my tongs and kind of just bury them in those beans. Now, I can put the lid on and move it to the back burner so it can cook for another 2 or 3 hours. Oh, hey guys, welcome back. We're on to the white beans. They've been cooking for like 2 or 3 hours. I can tell those suckers are getting creamy because they're really falling apart. And a good test is how much that ham hock wants to fall apart. And that's the first thing I'm gonna do with these white beans among finishing them up is remove these ham hocks. Because what I wanna do is I wanna get the meat off of them. Now you can see this one already started falling apart. Let's just get him out of there. I'm gonna set him off to the side. Let's see if I can find any more of that hock. There he is. Look at that sucker. And that's really a good sign that these white beans are super close to being done. So I got a couple things that I need to do to finish these white beans. One, remove the ham hocks, pick all the meat, and then get them back in the white beans. Also, I need to season them. Because you put so much seasoned meat like the andouille, the tasso, and the pickled pork, you wanna wait to the end to kind of test those seasonings. As expected, I mean, really, we're talking about a light pinch of black pepper and a light pinch of salt. That's the first time I add any seasoning to this dish. You're getting all of that salt and pepper and other seasonings from the meat that has already been in there and stewing in those white beans. Now, lastly, the thing that I want to do as well is take the back of my spoon and really start working those white beans against the side of the pot. I want this is a creamy dish. This isn't a dish where you have these standalone, singular white beans that are kind of just floating around in broth. No, this is a creamy, mashed, very rustic version of kind of this smothered or cooked down white bean. And you can already see as I agitate this dish, it's already starting to really cream out and break apart, and those white beans are becoming really one with the overall meal. You know, oftentimes you might see white beans served on side of jambalaya, baked fish, fried fish. But in this case, like I said, it's so meaty and so substantial, we're gonna eat this as a standalone dish with a little perfectly steamed white rice. Let's give it one more taste just to make sure we're there. Salt, we're good, but I'm gonna add some more black pepper or some hot sauce. That's just gonna, that little bit of vinegar is gonna bring those flavors up just a notch, just to start really singing. As you can see, as I keep stirring this and smashing the beans against the side of the pot, this is really starting to look like a white bean dish made from a mama in Cajun, Louisiana. I often like to think of myself of how I cook like a Cajun grandma. To me, there's not a better compliment than that. I'm gonna take this meat best as I can, pull it from the hocks best as I can, get that right back in there. Oh man, the hock meat is so full of gelatin, so full of flavor, adding tons of nutrients as well, but flavor to this dish. So getting that meat pulled from that bone and back into the pot, that should not go to waste. It's one of the most flavorful parts of a pig is in the hock. Some folks like the skin. That skin is completely edible, delicious. I'm gonna leave it out for this recipe. But I tell you what, that is looking good. Let's move that over to the side. All right, let's stir this back in. I'm gonna turn that fire off. We are good to go here, guys. Whew, boy. That is looking fire. All right, let's see. How do we want to play this? We got some perfectly steamed white rice here. cute little bowl, as Maggie would say. Cute or clear, we're going for cute here. White rice on the bottom, and then just layering those white beans right over the top. Get those whole chunks of andouille, the whole chunks of salt pork and tasso and ham hock. I mean, just look at that, just falling over those beans. Gosh darn it, man. That makes me miss home right there. Lastly, let's take a little parsley. And just nice, rough chop these things together. And just makes a good garnish, a nice little chop of parsley with green onions right on top of that. If you got any pepper vinegar, not just hot sauce, but pepper vinegar, some hot peppers that have been soaking in vinegar, that makes a great condiment for white beans to eat with it. You know we're not done yet. We got to get a bite. Let's check it out. Whew. Gosh, dog, that tastes like home. Take me back to Louisiana, y'all. My name's Chef Jean-Paul Bourgeois, and I am out.